It's Daylite.
I know, okay.
Hello people, welcome back to Shot with Daylite. My name is Dejan and today we're going to talk about shooting in direct sunlight / harsh sunlight. But first, while we're here, let's go ahead and hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? It's right there, you're here, it's there. You might as well just go ahead and hit it, you know. Like, go ahead and hit it and let's get into it. I'm going to talk about some things I keep in mind, some tips, and I'm going to show you a shoot I did in these situations and how I applied them. Go ahead and hit it and let's get into it. First tip I would give is try not to shoot in the middle of the day. Try to shoot as close to sunset or as close to sunrise as possible, because when the sun is straight over top, that's when the light is the absolute worst and hardest to work with. So as close to sunset, sunrise as possible would be my first tip. And then second, I would say try to position your subject in front of or on the side of the light. So I like to make sure my subject's in front of the sun because the light is a lot more manageable, a lot more flattering when it's hitting the behind them, and I can manage the light in front of them a lot better than I could if it was front lit. Or even when I like shooting from the side, it's a little more cinematic. You can shoot from the shadow side. Like I said, a lot of times front light or light over top creates shadows under the eyes, gives them raccoon eyes, and under the chin. It just doesn't look as good as I like. So that takes me to my next point. If I am shooting front lit, I have my subject tilt their head up, bring their chin up, and it just fills in under the eyes, under the chin. It's just a lot more flattering. It just looks better at the end of the day. Another thing I keep in mind is to, like I always say, use what you have to your advantage. So harsh light does create some interesting light situations and can create quite the contrast in different areas where you can highlight your subject. So if there's like a sliver of light, you could put your subject in that light to highlight them and separate them from the background or their environment and really give some character and interest to the image. And so I like to always look for situations like that where I can use the light to create something more interesting than just a flat image or just light everywhere. Another thing to keep in mind when you are working with the light is to expose for your subject and not the whole environment. And if there's a contrast in light and there's some dark parts and bright parts of the image, make sure wherever your subject is, that's where you expose for. So if your subject's in the highlights, make sure you expose them for the highlights. If they're in the shadows, expose for the shadows. Now if that means the highlights are blown out because you're exposing for the shadows, that's okay. You don't want to blow it out too much and try to, you know, balance it out. But at the end of the day, what's most important is your subject. Make sure you're exposing for your subject. So now that we've gone over some things I think about, some tips, we'll get into a shoot I did with Olivia. Like always, I'll drop her Instagram below and let's get to it. So these are back and kind of side lit. You can see her shadow to the left of her. I'm shooting from the shadow side. It's a nice highlight on the top of her head and her left shoulder. Found a nice little, you see the little window up top, light coming through. That would be cool to put her in some of that light, get on her face. Had her tilt her head up like I talked about. Thought this was some cool composition. The light hits pretty cool. The building gave some relief to the harsh sunlight, give a more even look to get some different type looking images. We moved over to this, not flower bed, but plant bed. Back to the harsh light. It's pretty side lit, these ones. These ones are in very harsh direct sun. The sun is to the left of her. It's a little to the side of her, as you can see our shadow to the right of her. I love this shot. As we went up the stairs, the light was hitting through the pillars, kind of cool, so I thought I'd position her into some of the slivers of light. Cool contrast. And over here, this is extremely backlit. The sun's hitting the whole front of this little building thing. Definitely shot from the shadow side. After the shoot, I saw a stranger walking that had a cool outfit, so I said, why not? So that was the shoot, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. At the end of the day, man, just get out there, and the more you shoot, the more you know, the more you learn, the more times you're in situations with direct sunlight or harsh sunlight, you just get a better feel for it and what works for you and your personal taste. Some of the things I talk about were my personal taste. Some photographers do things a little bit different. You take these principles and tips and you make it your own, basically. So thank y'all for coming out once again. Love y'all, man. Share with your friend. Stay tuned for more content. Like I always say, I got some special videos coming up. So appreciate y'all, man. Till next time. Peace.